everybody! So I'm back to making videos on a regular basis and it feels great. I'm still, incredibly busy with seeing so many beautiful people every day, all the time. So it's quite incredible. I have an equal amount of time, it seems, teaching those around me who come to ask for assistance, and then at the same time being in my mind with God, and at the same time giving back to this world, what I'm receiving through other means of inspiration that come forward. And so my life is seeming absolutely whole right now, perfect in every single possible way. And I'm recognizing that this is so because I've accepted fully and truly who I am. And I know that as I continue to share my acceptance of this, that it is a demonstration to the world what is possible. And I am just thankful that this is continuing to unravel to include more people around this world, and that we're all doing this together. We're feeling this shift, this global paradigm shift, some call it, this awakening, this new beginning, this end of the old world as we know it, and it's coming closer. The time is coming now, and I think it's more important than ever before for us to stay strong in our heart center and know that love is our compass, is our guide, and that as we continue to go within ourselves, this feeling of love will intensify, as our current state of knowing love is a mere fraction of the love of God. And yet, as we continue to hold this love in our heart, it expands, it grows, and then ultimately it speaks to us through the internal teacher within our own minds. And as we begin to cultivate this relationship within instead of without, the strength that we gain within shines out and then causes this reaction, as the effect will conform to the thought change, right? The thought acceptance, the thought choice. So with that being said, I'm going to read my lesson today. I've never read this lesson before, but it's lesson 190. I'm in the 90s now. I choose the joy of God instead of pain. Right? And this is a choice that we make. We can't have both. We can't have one foot in, one foot out. Oh, sometimes I'm joyful. We don't even know what joy is until we let go of everything that is not joy and welcome the joy of God. But until that point, it's all learning, and it's allowing ourselves to feel that joy and heart and love within, and use that to direct us down the path, so that anytime we're not feeling joy or love, we know to go within ourselves and question and open and loosen those thoughts and bring the thoughts to light within us, so that they may be transformed and purified, so that they completely fall away. And then no longer are we living ourselves as this separate self, but in turn we have allowed our thoughts and our mind to become with us, and we remember who we are as child of God, and therefore we can be in that openness and space to allow the words of God to flow through us instead of our old thinking mind. So on that note, let's get started on this this lesson today, and I hope that all of you who are listening to this can also use this as your intention and your focus to hold within your mind to set you forth along your path throughout the day. Just watch how the universe conspires with you and for you to allow you to learn this lesson, as it does for me every day. So here we go. Pain is a wrong perspective. When it is experienced in any form, it is a proof of self-deception. It is not a fact at all. There is no form it takes which will not disappear if seen right. For pain proclaims God cruel. How could it be in any form? It witnesses to God the Father's hatred of his Son, the sinfulness he sees in him, and his insane desire for revenge and death. Can such projections be attested to? Can they be anything but wholly false? I love that it opened up like this, right? Jesus is saying right off the bat, no running around the bush, right? Pain is a wrong perspective. If we are feeling pain, it's not justified. It's not necessary. It doesn't need to be there. And if we look at it appropriately, like I said just before we started, it falls away. It leaves. But it's up to us to look at it, to question it, to give it to the light, to give it to the voice within us so that we may see it differently. If not, we are clouding our judgment by perceiving ourselves to be something that can experience pain, that is separate from God, because God is a hatred God and dislikes us and disapproves of us, or whatever our thought system may be surrounding it. But it is impossible for us to feel pain when we remember who we are. So again, it's like false identification. Can they be anything else but wholly false when they do not even exist? Not possible. Pain is but witness to the son's mistakes in what he thinks he is. Exactly, right? That's all where it boils down to. Who do I think I am? Do I think I'm this body that can experience pain, that can experience, sticks and stones may break my bones, that we can die and we can suffer and have all this abuse and everything, It does happen in this form, We do, accept those things into our life for whatever lessons we need to learn from them, But the whole point in it is for us to go through those experiences, and when we come out on the other side, for us to question the validity of them and ask if we still want to be holding that pain and that experience in our mind in the way that we experienced it at the time. And if we no longer want to be holding on to that pain and feeling that sadness and that torture every time we are reminded of it, then we must look at it, question it, and be willing to let it go. And if we are, well, then the voice for God will show us how it's done, instantly, naturally, automatically, with our mere willingness to look. All we have to do is look, but we must look at the thoughts in our mind. The majority of the time, if painful things have happened in our experience, we stuff it down, we stuff it down, we stuff it down, we stuff it down, and we don't want to look at it. We don't want to bring it up. We say, that's okay, everything's fine, it's all good, everything's fine. And then what happens with that is we continue to build these layers between us and the truth of what is happening, between us and the love and the joy and the peace that we could feel, because we're holding on to these illusions, holding on to these experiences that we've had in the past and believing them to be true for us right here, right now, but they're not. They're a mere misperception, like Jesus is saying here. It is a simple mistake that has happened. It's a simple mistake of the mind that even believes itself can possibly feel pain, right? So that's all, okay? It is a dream of fierce retaliation for a crime that could not be committed, for attack on what is wholly unsaleable. It is a nightmare of abandonment by an eternal love, which could not leave the Son whom it created out of love. So it's saying right here that it is a feeling of abandonment that we feel once we've experienced some sort of pain within this dream. And when we experience some sort of pain within this dream, we recognize as souls that being eternal love like God, that we can't experience pain, but because we are in this physical form, we take it into ourselves as if we've done something wrong or somebody else has done something wrong, and therefore we must be separate and abandoned by God because I feel horrible and this can't possibly, this is my reality, so I must have done something wrong. Right? And then that's what we take into ourselves. That is what we start to believe to be true. Right? It's this nightmare that we are living, that this is even possible, And that's a scary, scary thought to think, accepting what has happened in the past, may it be painful or otherwise, and holding it with us and feeling guilty and ashamed and sad and all of these things, But until we are willing to look at it with the Holy Spirit in our minds, it'll stay there and it will continue to perpetuate old problems and allow us to experience abandonment all over again, allow us to experience feeling alone and pain, all over again, because we're still holding that old memory and experience within our mind and believing it to be true. So because we believe it to be true, we're going to get it again and again and again and again and again until we heal it. And when we heal it with the Holy Spirit, it falls, it leaves, we are shown another way, and it is replaced by the joy and peace of God, which is who we are. Pain is a sign illusions reign in place of truth. It demonstrates God is denied, confused with fear, perceived as mad, and seen as traitor to himself. If God is real, there is no pain. If pain is real, there is no God. For vengeance is not a part of love, and fear, denying love, and using pain to prove that God is dead, has shown that death is a victor over life. The body is the Son of God, corruptible in death, as mortal as the Father he has slain. So Jesus is even saying right here, right now, that, if we feel pain, then we're perceiving there's no God. But if we know that there is a God, then there can't possibly be pain. God's not split. God doesn't say, I love you, my children, go have fun and play and do whatever you want, but you're going to feel pain, and you're going to feel, all of these torturous things, and you're going to sin, and I don't like you, and you're not back in heaven, and all this stuff. No, that's not possible. We asked for this experience to experience what it's like to be apart from him. We brought ourselves into this mess. We've created pain of the body, pain of abandonment, feeling alone and separated. It all comes back to that same component of separation, right? Separated from our Father, And because we see ourselves in these bodies, in these home on this earth, we feel separate from him. We feel alone from him. We feel cut off from him. But then that is also a choice that we make until we learn otherwise. Until we realize that God has never left us, but that we have just been putting our attention out there instead of in here. Right? And once we start to put the attention in here, then we can start to claim that love and that joy for ourselves, and only that. And as we do that, the Holy Spirit in our mind shows us how to unravel the pain, because the pain isn't there to begin with. It's just a mere misperception. It says, peace to such foolishness. The time has come to laugh at such insane ideas that we can possibly experience pain. It's time to laugh at it. This is how we know we are seeing correctly, because it's funny to us, okay? There is no need to think of them as savage crimes or secret sins with weighty consequence. Who but a madman could conceive of them as cause of anything? Okay? Their witness, pain, is mad as they, and no more to be feared than the insane illusions which it shields and tries to demonstrate must still be there. Okay? This goes to the concept that we hold secrets in our mind based on what's happened in the past, because it's sinful, because it's bad, because we don't want people to know it, because it'll look bad on us, because it'll make somebody else look bad, because of this, because of that, because of this, because of that, because of this, because of that. We put up all these judgments and all these blocks in our mind on these thoughts and experiences that we had in order to keep the pain locked in place. We feel guilty for it happening. We feel bad for it happening, so we hide it. Right? But by us hiding it and holding that to be our truth is just as insane as the person who quote-unquote did this to us, quote-unquote. Right? Because it literally is. There is no victim and there is no attacker. Everything is a part of the collective plan, and at some point we have asked for it in our mind. I'm not good enough. I'm unworthy. And then we have an experience to show us that. Right? People hate me. I'm always alone. We have an experience to show us that. Whatever we have here is the cause, and it goes out there and brings it back to us. Out there could not possibly be the cause of anything, because it first arrives in here. Okay? So if we're saying things happen outside of us, oh, but that's just the way that it is, and it just happens, and oh my God, everything's so shit, and life sucks, and da-da-da, why do all these bad things happen to me, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. No! It has nothing to do with the outside world and cringing on us and that being the cause of our pain. We first accepted the thought that pain is even possible, and then we bring it into our experience that way. That's how it works. The cause is up here, and this is exactly what